Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
All right. Welcome to episode 26 of the Opportunity Knocks podcast. I'm your host, Patrick. And today joining me, we have one of the most impactful people in all of Vantage marketing Canada and probably the top grossing producer in the past couple years. He was the top 3 rookie in 2022, the year after rookie manager of the year in 2023, and then following that, manager of the year in 2024. Easily 2025 was his best year in terms of sales performance and managing performance. Over his 4 years combined, he's had 800 personal sales over those 4 years. And then the biggest thing is an $8 million downline total over those 3 years of managing. What's the most impressive about all of this is that in this last year, more than half of that downline was generated, with $4.7 million of downline generated in 2025 for this gentleman. He's from Montreal, probably the highest earning person in all of Vantage. Please welcome the Wolf, Philippe Pecho.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. You clearly did your research.
Oh, yeah. I've been researching you for a while. The Wolf, I know you by heart now. But where did that come from, the Wolf?
Yeah, so I didn't give it to myself. I don't remember exactly where it came from, but in my rookie year, people just started calling me that. I watched the movie The Wolf of Wall Street when I was 16, and like any 16-year-old watching that movie instantly wanted me to get into sales and make money. But it actually, it was kind of, I never like knew what sales was even before. Sometimes you draw inspirations from different things in life, and just happened to be that very funny, goofy movie, obviously, right? You gotta choose what to model from. You don't model everything from that movie necessarily, but
I hope not.
No, but and yeah, it's pretty cool because now I started out as a rookie, and now I'm kind of like doing that whole Wolf of Wall Street, I'm leading a big sales team and everything, and it's really funny.
Absolutely. So you had pretty much no sales background anyway. No one in your family was in sales in any way.
Yeah.
I guess your friends weren't really in that as well. Did you study in the realm of sales?
Yeah, I mean, even before getting into this job, that's another really interesting thing. I was really reading sales books and stuff. I just knew that was something I would be good at. I've always had a really big interest in psychology.
Just a
and
genuine
people.
interest.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I actually learned about this job. Other pretty interesting thing. I didn't have any friends that did it before me, or just basically found it on Indeed, just a cold, and then went from there, and I just really just saw the vision for this job. I really understood what it was.
Absolutely. So I remember you telling me a while back that in your first in the first couple of interviews, you saw the vision of this job, you saw the opportunity, and you really felt like there's something special that can be made here. What about this opportunity, off the bat, on the interview process was this seems pretty interesting. Maybe this is something I want to do. What intrigued you about it?
Yeah, I think I understood very early something that I preach to this day to rookies, and it's that the hardest things yield the biggest progress in anything you do in life. I think I understood that very early on, and to me, how it was framed to me in the interviews is how I frame it to this day, and this is the hardest job you can possibly do. And as a young person, I think that's exactly what you need to be doing in your early years. I think this job is the greatest opportunity for the right person, but it can also be the worst thing you can do in your summer if it's the wrong fit. So that's why we do a really diligent job as interviewers. I take that task very, very seriously.
And how old were you when you interviewed?
19.
19. That's young and dumb.
Yeah.
That's perfect timing. So, okay, you interviewed for the job. You were intrigued by it.
Yep.
You went out for your first time knocking in 2022.
Yep.
And how did that first rookie year go for Philip?
So we were talking about seeing the vision for the job. Back then, we didn't have, it's not the same company. Rookies are so they're going into the absolute best sales program, I believe, in all of Canada. back then it was just like, listen to Sales Superstar and you'll be good. I wasn't really satisfied with that. I knew that preparation was going to go such a long way. There wasn't that much training, but the training that there was, I devoured it. Like I came first day prepared, had like a notebook, everything filled out already. And I was the only one. Pretty much, I think, in my team that had done that. So, and to this day, like the things I was doing as a rookie, I'm still preaching because I think that's what led to my success. My 7th day, I got 7 sales. That's always something that I'm very proud of. But
dream.
Honestly, like it's not, like it's not really talent. I'll never really know if it was truly talent because I know a lot of people do this job without having prepared. I did. So like, I'll never know if I was just like naturally talented or not, but like, there's no accidents in this. I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how much did you generate in your first year?
170.
170.
Yeah.
Super fire for the first year.
Especially for 2022.
Especially for 2022.
This year you probably get the year-end trip.
You might make it.
You might make it.
The standard has like increased every single year.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about this, is that a large part of it comes from the leaders and how the standard gets raised every year. And you being one of them, it was just like you're able to raise the standard every year. So rookie year, you had that pretty good success. You were top 3 in the company as a rookie. And like what was your biggest takeaway from your rookie year? And what advice would you give to a rookie going into their first time? Like, what's like the number one thing they should look out for?
Well, I think the people that have the most success in this company are the most confident. And that confidence stems from believing that the results that you're going to get, believing you're going to actually get those results, right? And so, but that confidence is built, and it's built by preparation. It's built by continuous effort during the summer, basically all the fundamentals, right? And so I'd say, we're recording this in the preseason, believing that you deserve more than others by doing things others are doing. So preparing more than others, going that extra step, going that extra mile. That's what I would say to rookies.
Absolutely. And I always like repeat this to everyone, is like, confidence is built through competence. The way you build competence is through doing an undeniable amount of work that will like never shift your belief in yourself. So that's like pretty much like what I would sum from what you were saying there. So that's a huge lesson to the rookies nowadays. Like, if you're going to go into your rookie year, make sure that you're prepared. Make sure that you're like believing in the work you put in, because like it's going to be a walk in the park after that. It's just like you're going to be able to turn off your brain slightly so that you could really just focus on being in the moment and knocking doors and just the work ethic, rather than like, what are you going to say? How are you going to say it? Because all those things just like are going to be much easier. But from first year to second year, so you came back as a rookie manager in your second year, and how did that go? Absolutely the unknown for you.
Yeah, that's like we're talking about like rookie, like the hardest job. If you really want to know the hardest job, rookie manager. It was such a mess. Everything happening at the same time. You got to be like super prepared also as a rookie manager. But yeah, I'd say just really model is probably the thing I could have done a lot better.
And why is that the hardest job? Just so you can emphasize to everyone, like, why is the rookie manager role the hardest position off the bat?
Yeah. Like I guess you kind of got to live it to understand it. But like the accountability, other people's success on your shoulders, that's very hard to bear. And it's just, especially if you need to be in a right place mentally, like to be able to give to others, that's something, you have to learn along the way. But, honestly, the rookie manager year, it has to be seen as a growing year. That's really what it was for me. Like, we didn't do a crazy amount that year, but definitely set me up for the year after to then that was the big breakout year. Yeah.
So second year, so your first rookie managing year, how much did you guys do in revenue?
I don't even know, honestly. There was
pretty decent.
Pulse wasn't really, Pulse wasn't really
no
a thing back
leaderboards.
then, honestly. Like, yeah. But the year after, Montreal Central, we did 1.8 million, which was the number 2 team in Canada. And that was really like the year everything kind of came together. But, it takes a while. It takes a while to get into these things. And 4 years in now, this is a great just career to have in general. I think a lot of people are getting into it maybe for the first year or the second year listening to this. It's interesting kind of part of the perspective, right? Just having someone that's been doing this for 4 years, and honestly, I can say like this is a great path to have, especially when you get into leadership. In my opinion, that's I always say if you want to make multiple six figures in your life, become a great salesperson. If you want to make seven figures, eventually, you got to become a great leader. So you need to learn how to lead people, and that's for those who are very lucky, right? You have to be a top performer sales wise, but you also have to be the right person to be able to lead. If you're lucky enough to have that opportunity, I definitely encourage people to seize it.
And I just want you to the aura, the amount of energy that came from that Centralites team. By the way, they were called the Centralites, which is pretty funny because when you think back to the Wolf of Wall Street, what he called his sales team, was the Stratonites. Yeah. And the Centralites just was such a good comparison. There was no way that was by accident.
It was not.
But it was a lot of aura behind that. You guys had a lot of good energy, and you could just tell there was a culture that came from that.
Yeah.
And obviously it stems from the leader. The good and the bad fall on the leader at all times. And I have a question about typically in this job, it's pretty against the grain, I'd say, to last this long in it and to spend, you've been 4 years heading onto your fifth year, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
So heading onto your fifth year, I can't say there's too many of you guys. There's a lot of vets, but you're becoming the vet. And usually sometimes people do this for a year or two and then they maybe don't last that long. Why door to door? Why did you want to do this why you continue doing this year after year after year after year and heading into your fifth year now?
I'm so passionate by what I do. To me, I had such a great experience my rookie year. It changed my life. And I'm so lucky that I get to spread that around to other rookies. That to me, seeing their improvement, seeing how at the end of the summer, how happy they are, how much confidence they gained. I truly think that this is the best opportunity. And this generation of Vantage-ites, right? Not just Centralized, but just people at Vantage. These are going to be the people that are going to be the leaders, the entrepreneurs. These are people that are going to change the world, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And one thing you talk about a ton, and I'm so glad. One thing I find special about this is the community that we have in Vantage and how everyone's able to learn from each other, take things here and there from one another. One thing you talk about, and you mentioned this earlier, was the importance of role modeling and how that's led to your success in a way. Can you expand on that a little bit on how role modeling helped you with the success in your life and in this job?
Yeah. So this is really for anyone listening to this, door to door, not door to door. I think role modeling is probably the biggest skill you can have for success in general, because in anything you do, in any endeavor, the path, we always say in the Centralites, don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel exists, it's there. And the true beauty of this job is that's probably one of the main skills you need to learn, because we all sell the same thing to the same people. We're in the same jersey, hearing the same training. We all have pretty much the same pitch at this point, right? It's just a question. And there's people that are doing this job selling twice, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, 20 times what you're doing.
And why is that?
Doing the exact same thing, right? And to me, you got to model from those people, right? You got to model from who is doing it right. Can be applied to leadership as much as sales, but I think sales is just you're building that muscle of being able to model. Obviously, your main model, if you're a rookie, is your manager. And that, keep modeling from other people within the team, right? And I think a great thing even a manager can do is just modeling the people around them. Just even the rookies, everyone has something you're just in constant learning. Everyone has something to offer. The bottom rookie can have maybe 50, 40 accounts, but he's doing one thing really, really good, but the rest is just a mess. But that one thing he's doing really, really good, you can model from maybe,
That one rep who sells at 70 accounts, he's an absolute report merchant. He's so good at rapport.
Exactly.
And he sold 70 accounts because of rapport. But maybe the other things were just not the greatest, but he does that one thing amazing, like you're saying.
Exactly.
So I would urge everyone to be curious. Okay. One thing I noticed, and I've met a ton of the top performers and I've talked to a lot of them and I've interviewed them. And one thing that a lot of them have in common is they're just sponges and they're just students of life.
Yep.
It's the same thing that you're explaining now, that they're just purposefully going into every day, trying to get 1% better and trying to take away just a lesson every day.
Yep.
Whether it's from someone that's not as high status as them, higher status than them, on the same level as them, they're curious. And I'll take it a step further. it even helps your sales performance on the doors, not just from like a approach standpoint. Sorry, not just from like a skill standpoint, but an approach standpoint. So you're now approaching the customers with a genuine curiosity for them, because that's how you approach life. You're so curious that you're just like, okay, I'm genuinely curious in this customer. I'm showing them that I'm interested in them, and then show them that I care for them, and I can learn something from that customer regardless on like if I'm trying to sell them or not. People feel that, and that's an energy that you transfer to them, and I think it helps a ton in like sales performance. But a big one is as a leader, and that's kind of what I want to touch on with you is like, who did you model off as a leader? What kind of skills did you take from other people? And then what is the application of that? Like, how do you actually apply those things that knowledge you're getting from them?
Yeah. So I think, well, you asked who, the first thing. We live in the greatest time to be successful, to the people that are resourceful. I think, just being online and just like finding mentors, right? Like before Vantage, like I don't know anyone in business pretty much outside of Vantage, right? So we have the best place to model people from. But then, the first step to me is the most obvious, like just the number of podcasts like this. This is great, me being on a podcast. This is a great, kind of full circle moment for me. But like the number of podcasts that I've digested, I'm convinced I've digested more podcasts than anyone in Vantage. I believe it. Necessarily if that's true, but like I've definitely, and because you in a podcast, the great thing about it, and I love this initiative of Opportunity Knocks, is you get to kind of live in the person's head. But the thing is then you ask like how to apply it. It's just like intentional application, right? Like we always say that you're the average of the top 5 people you surround yourself the most with, right? I think first of all, that top 5 people, that can be just people you listen to online, like that. Imagine you're modeling after like that, that's a big thing. But only so that we always say that, but it's only if you're intentional about it, in my opinion. If you're consciously applying, okay, like this person does this so well, but they're not doing that thing so well, so maybe that thing, like I won't model from them, I'll model from someone else, right? It's like the Wolf of Wall Street, like the classic example, right? Like, you probably don't want to model like a bunch of stuff that he did, but you want to model like, man, how he built a culture, like how he built a team, like his sales ability, all that stuff. And that's kind of how I've built essentially the person I am today. It's like half of the stuff I'm saying right now is like stuff that I heard already in podcasts. Like crazy. it's not all organic, but like the stuff's already out there, man. Like, and it's just like filtering through that and being very intentional about what type of person do you want to become, right? We always talk about in Essentialize are probably our biggest motto, probably like the slogan, I want to say maybe the slogan this year, act as if.
Act as if.
Act as if you were confident and you'll be confident.
What is the equation? I'm trying to, it sounds like, like role model plus role model plus role model times intentionality. Is like the equation here, and the intentionality part is like the big multiplier. Because like you could take all these things, but if you're not like intentional about like what you want to learn from them and how you want to apply it, it doesn't like add up in that way, or it doesn't give you like the ROI that you should be receiving. Now like someone like a rookie or someone like an experienced rep coming back for this year, how do they like act as if in those moments? Give like examples, I guess. I could give a couple if you don't know, but give like examples, I guess, of like acting as if.
Well, I think this is a great, probably the best tip you can give to rookies. It's always kind of my go-to tip, especially in that first 3 weeks. Knocking doors is so unnatural for anyone that does it. I don't care whether you're super motivated to. It's just like the most unnatural thing, especially when you're doing it. To be frank, it's still unnatural to me. I'm 4 years in, dude, and like I'll get nervous sometimes going up to doors, especially my first, like, it's just like one of those things. You just got to learn to kind of push through that discomfort. And I remember like that first time, like getting to area, like, what the hell am I doing here, bro? Like, I'm just like in the street, like, what is going on? Like, what the hell did I, like, yeah, it's just like the craziest thing. And I remember like, I think the best tip is just like, act as if you've done this already. Act as if this is the most normal thing ever. Just create that certainty in your body, and somehow like it works. Like in moments where you don't know like what to do, you can take this, you can apply this to your life. In moments where you're like confronted to adversity, like you're like, man, I'm never gonna be able to handle this. But you know who will? you know who would, like, oh, this guy. Okay, let me just like act like I was this person, right?
Right.
That's huge. And like for someone who like, okay, who do I role model after, and who do I act as if from? Dude, your managers, your leaders on your team. Could be like the CEO. I have give like a concrete example of like when I'm in a management position or leadership position, I'm like dealing with the rep or just a scenario, and I'm like, maybe I don't know how to tackle it right away. I'm like, okay, let me
What would BQ do?
what would BQ do? Like, let me just like channel Brandon Quinlan real quick, and like 10-15 minutes straight, I'm Brandon Quinlan. So like that's like a huge superpower to have, and I think that's one of your biggest superpowers is like role modeling and acting as if, and I think it's taking you as far as you've come in like in such a quick time.
Yep.
Because that's the impressive part in all of this is like people get to your position is like in like 5 to 10 years. You got to your position in less than 5 years. Partner, huge downline, all these things, and like obviously great leader and salesperson. Acting as if is such a big thing. And I guess like the two factors that come from it is like, I want to talk about like being a salesperson as well in this. And like, how do you teach sales? What is your approach to it? And one thing you brought to my attention was like that there's two ways of it. There's like the pitch and then there's the approach. From helping, you definitely helped like one of your reps this year, Simon, who was the top rep. What's like one thing that like I guess you taught him or taught like just like your whole program that you feel like made a big difference for them in terms of sales?
So understanding really what makes those top performers like Simon, I think that's one of the things I'm fascinated by, is understanding what makes people successful, right? And so like kind of studying their formula, like what makes them who they are. I think an interesting thing, like, those Golden Door guys, and I'd throw you in that pool also, Patrick, like in those top 0.001% of performers, is that, we really do all have the same pitch. Like you can learn the pitch realistically within like 2-3 hours and like have it down pack. However, that's kind of like the structure, I'd say. That's probably a better word for it. There's a structure, and then there's this magical word. It's the approach. And the approach is consisted of The Fundamentals of Sales by Tim Mulcahy, and then it's just understanding people, and then I'd say just
personality.
And then it's your personality. So it's gonna vary within everyone, right? So you have some things that are going to work for you that are not going to work for me, and vice versa. And I think based on your personality, you're going to approach rapport differently. You're going to approach how you assume the sale differently, right? Because we're all different essentially, but what makes those top performers is oftentimes like that number one answer that they throw out is like, oh, well, we work harder than everyone. And that's 100% true. And that's a big, big, big part of why they're so successful. But then again, like the closing percentage of those top performers is like 10 times as high as like the average, right? So the answer there for just like the actual sales part of it is purely based on you have a better approach, because there's a lot of frustration among especially like experienced reps, for example, like, man, I'm saying like the exact same as this guy, man. Like, why am I not getting, well,
you're just, and it's not their first time doing it either.
Exactly.
So that's the frustrating part.
Exactly. For struggling rookies in general.
Right.
But yeah, and this is important for everyone listening that's going to do this job, is it's the approach, right? So there's just so much more into it. You have to be a student of the game. You have to be constantly evolving, listening, studying sales in general as a whole, not just like the training, but like going beyond that, continuous learning. I'm just like throwing fundamentals of Tim Mulcahy right now, like in the podcast, but it's true. Like, I mean, I was laughing earlier, like, oh, that was like one of the only things that gave us for training in 2022, but there's a reason why it was still so huge. Like he just like Tim Mulcahy just like pulled out like all the fundamentals, just like name them all, and like it's just like the most perfect, like whether it's like mindset or like the sales fundamentals, like those 7 fundamentals of sales, that's like so integral in our training. And I kind of refer to it as the checklist. And I think we should be doing a lot more. Those 7 fundamentals, like a lot of managers can't even name them. But I think it's such a interesting thing, like after a sale, just kind of going through those fundamentals in your head and like, damn, I forgot rapport, right? Like, damn, like I didn't really assume the sale well. So like just knowing what you did wrong is probably like the biggest thing, because a lot of people sometimes like they do this job and they don't know what they're doing wrong.
They're just not aware.
Exactly. Right?
Awareness is key.
So you need. So that's why this job is why I say it's the hardest job, because it's so emotionally exhausting.
Right.
Because you just constantly think, oh man, like what did I do wrong there? Like could I even gotten that sale? that's always a question we ask ourselves, right? It's like, would Simon have gotten that sale? You know, like, and then you got to be honest with yourself, right? And it's tough. It's like, okay, well, like, what did I do wrong? It's just like a constant game. I love it.
You know what's fun for me to watch sometimes is when like Golden Door reps or really, really high performers get on a podcast or something and they're like, okay, what's the sauce? Tell us the sauce. They're like, oh, there's no special sauce.
Yeah.
No,
It's true.
there's no
Because
special
the structure
sauce.
is all the same. It's literally all the same. But then also there's the approach.
But
That's
they
what
might not
they're-
even be aware of that, which is
Yeah.
the problem.
That's interesting.
They're
yeah.
like, oh, there's no special sauce. I just go out there and I work harder, which like, yes, that's a factor. But I really think the approach is like what separates
Yep.
everyone.
Yep.
I think in my rookie year was like a big thing was like I knew like the sales knowledge behind it. I trained a ton, but like I just didn't know the approach at all. Like I didn't know actually how to like approach the sale, how to approach customers, how to approach this, and another thing, how to approach this job from a long-term perspective. How we're going out there and we're trying to earn long-term business, and we're trying to like get sales the ethical way. I think approaching it that way as well, and like genuinely trying to help the customer, and like give them something that will benefit them, and just making it make sense for their scenario.
Yeah.
Just changes your perspective on this, and you could become way less like attached to like the sale in the moment, where you're able to just like lean back, give them the pitch, and just kind of like they're like, you know what, this guy makes sense. This guy's just a businessman or a businesswoman that wants to earn my business, and I think that's a huge one. And then you also talk a lot about like,
I think one of like the biggest things you've done is like managerial wise and leadership wise, creating the right like culture and the right expectancy in this job of like, when you come in, this is what I expect from you.
Yep.
And this is what it takes to be successful at this job. How do you set that standard from day one?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of stole the answer. Like,
sorry.
that's the. I mean, you gotta in the interview process. Like, we always talk about in the interviews. Like, I had an interesting question from one of the managers last year. He's like, "Yo, Phil, like, I can pretty much like some of these guys, man. Like, I know I want to hire them like right away, pretty much like on the spot, like within 30 minutes, right? And it's like, why don't I just like hire them on the spot?" And it's like, that's an interesting question because like, that's true. Like, there's a lot of people that I would say that. However, you have to understand that the interviews have many purposes, right? And I'd say selection is probably the most important one. Like, you want to obviously select the right type of people.
Right.
So we have a lot of people that want to do this job, want to give the right opportunities to the right people. And I mean, yeah, still the people that we choose sometimes don't even work out, right? So you want to really be able to select. But then also, one of the most important things too is just like setting expectations straight, making people know and if they're not excited about like, oh man, like this summer is going to be like the biggest grind of my life. Like, I'm going to put some things basically you put your life on pause. I mean, you can say, right? And if you're not, you kind of have to be crazy to do this job in some way. You kind of got to have a dark side, like how you always talk about the dark side. I definitely did have a dark side starting this job. Like, but yeah, like getting into it, that's really the key. Setting expectations straight, them truly understanding. That's why I love doing this right now. Is honestly, I hope the rookies from especially my program are going to listen to this and truly understand like what is required to be successful. Just knowing what you're getting yourself into, and doing everything that you can to like be successful, and just like following the recipe, following that's the formula that's been already set by all the previous top performers.
Right. There's a 3 pillars in sales. I'm sure like everyone knows it. There's like value in the company, value in the service, and then value in yourself that you have to build.
Yeah.
Imagine it like 3 water bottles that like you have to pour water into. Yeah. It's the same thing when you're like, I guess, recruiting reps or interviewing reps and getting them ready for the season. Is there a 3 pillars of value that you need to like create for?
Dude, we talked about this before. I forgot what they were.
It's so if I were to remember correctly, it's value in the opportunity.
Yeah.
So understanding the opportunity correctly and how they're able to dictate their income, how they're able to have like, agency over their life. Understanding that. There's understanding the value in themselves. So you as a leader need to create value within that person and make them believe in themselves. And then also take it a step further and understand what their motivations and their whys are.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the last one was value in the leader. They need to have value in the leader and the person that they're going to pretty much be like blindly following and betting on in this job. Because like they don't know what they're getting themselves into.
Yep.
If I'm joining your team, I'm looking at Phil. I'm like, okay, this is my leader. Like, what is Phil able to succeed? That's like what I role model after. So there's those three pillars. Is there certain like applications you have for any of those three pillars that like you put into play every day?
Yeah, I mean, a key thing you said there, we were talking about this off camera, and I forgot what the pillars were, but we had so many interesting conversations preparing for this. But understanding, like, kind of like being a manager is kind of like the sales cycle. You have to, first thing, like, before being able to like give advice to rookies, like, you have to understand them. You know what I mean? Like, some rookies are going to be motivated by different things. Like, they're most certainly different than you are. And so, like, people get motivated for different reasons. So truly understanding their why, their motivations, all these things. Like me, I'm genuine. Like we were talking about curiosity. Like when I interview someone, like I'm just like genuinely curious on like who they are as a person, what makes them motivated, and like what's their path to success here in this job, right? Knowing what their weaknesses are, their strengths, all these things. And we rarely have time to like actually sit down and like talk about the rookie, before the summer starts. And so this is your most important like intelligence gathering phase, just like in sales. Like you don't want to just like pitch your solution right away without knowing what the prospect's problems are, right? You want to first get an idea of what the problems are, and then hey, based on what you've said to me, I think this is a perfect fit for you.
Right. And I guess the purpose of this podcast is for those people. A huge one for me is like, okay, the purpose of this podcast is to help people, especially in this company, but outside of this company, find those role models, find those leaders.
Yep.
And like, don't shy away from it. Cause like, even you're talking like helping the rookie reps and like being curious about them, but you've helped leaders as well, helped other managers succeed in them as well, which is why your downline is where it is. And like the people you've helped create leaders and their success, like you, and this year in the Montreal Centralites, one of the teams, they were rookie manager of the year, if I'm correct.
Yep.
So yeah, Gab and Ziad.
Yep.
You had top rep. You had another great Montreal Central team. You had a great Quebec team, if I'm correct on that. And like genuinely, and I think it stems from like you just genuinely wanting to help them.
Yeah.
Having a curiosity in them, and not just the rookies, and the managers as well. So that's the next step. So it starts with the rookies. Then I think it starts like with the leaders you're developing. Then it starts with like the managers, and the levels just go higher, higher, and higher and higher. But I guess the question I have for you, and I'm really curious about this, is like all of this, like all of the success that you've had, and you talk about this a lot about like stepping into the vision. Do you think it came from just visualizing all of this and like you seeing the steps in your head, or for you, is it less planned? Is it mainly just focus on the inputs at each moment, and then you're gonna end up getting what you get? How does that like work for you in terms of like the background, like gears in your head?
Well, I think to kind of take it one step at a time here, I think great salesmanship combined with like honestly the true will to want to give equals great leadership, right? I think it's those two that need to be put together. I don't think necessarily because you're a great salesperson you're going to be a great leader. I think you really honestly have to have that putting your rookies in front of you type mentality, right? In some way. So, and I've always had that. Just like, I think it's kind of a life philosophy, right? But like giving to others, that's like contribution is probably like my main value. Like I just love, I've ever since, like whether it's like giving advice to friends, like whatever, I've always had a passion for it, just helping other people. So I guess, it kind of came together in this job. I'm not like necessarily saving lives, but I'm definitely making people's lives better, right?
Just a little bit better.
So we always love to say like for the actual sale itself, we're definitely doing the same thing. We're making people's lives better by buying pest control.
Exactly.
We're not. Maybe a little bit better, right? Just a little bit better, right? But it's like always a cool thing. Right. I really have a ton of belief in the service. I believe in what we sell. Yeah. But like when it becomes like leading, I guess your customers are kind of like, I guess you're rookies in some way, right? And so, but we're making their lives like a lot better. Like this is really like you have really a chance to be impactful. Right. That's why I said at the beginning of the podcast, like I love this so much because I'm so passionate about it. I mean, yeah, we're 100-hour weeks during the summers, like been through school, like all those accomplishments you said, like I just graduated like 3 weeks ago, you know what I mean? Like I was still in school doing all these things. Thanks, man. But yeah, I was like still in school doing all these things, like working like hell. But honestly, like a lot of people ask me like, okay, how do you even do that? Like I was asked that on another podcast. I mean, how do you get all that stuff done other than lots of, massive amounts of caffeine? The other thing, the other big component is honestly like, it's just my passion. Like I just truly love what I do. It's cliche, but like I love helping people.
Right.
Like that's the mission. That's the first part.
And to bring it like full circle, to wrap up your story in a way and come to a close on the pod today, what I wanted to just like kind of touch on a little bit, you said that like you have to be able to give to people but still fill up your own cup. And you said that this year was probably your best year being like in terms of sales, because you sold the most that you've ever sold. And in terms of managing, you felt the best, you felt the most prepared and all of that. How were you able to balance that? How were you able to like in this like most recent year still fill up your cup while be able to give to others? Because when you just give all the time, your cup gets empty. And how are you able to kind of have that this year?
Great question. And I'm so happy I get to talk about this, because this sort of thing, I mean, for people that are looking to do this as careers, right? Experienced reps and even rookies listen to this, honestly, could easily get inspired. I hope I can inspire like someone that hasn't even done the job yet to be like, oh man, like I'd love to pursue something like that and just like be into a leadership position. I think we should be talking more about this, right? But yeah, no, I think like getting really into a couple of years of leadership, and even for you, man, like as advice, like you need to be okay first. Like you need to take care of yourself before taking care of others. And that's something that took me a long time to learn, even into year 3, even like a very successful year, like very successful. That rookie class, like to this day is probably like
Undefeated.
The talent that came out of that office is insane. But I will say that, I mean, I was not thinking about myself at all. It's just like got burnt out at the end as always. And that's just no way to like go about this job. You want to be, healthy and everything. And honestly, it just makes you a better leader if you take care of you. Make sure you're okay first, right? Make sure you get your workout in. Make sure you get your food in, which sounds crazy, but sometimes you just like,
Oh my God.
just don't eat food.
Hyper successful people sometimes forget to eat. Sometimes they forget to
That's
sleep the right amount of hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes they forget to work out. Not that they forget, it's just like but like everything in this job just consumes it.
Yeah.
And it just gets put aside.
Yeah.
So you're saying prioritizing those other aspects in life that are gonna overall fill your cup so that you're able to pour more into the people surrounding you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I love that.
That's key. And it's just gonna make you more be able to give more as a leader, right?
That's my goal for this year.
There you go.
That's my goal. And
Just so bring it all for full circle. Heading into 2026, like what's the goal for Philip? What are we looking forward for in this team and like this, this new generation of leaders?
Yeah, so this year my intention really is not results. I just know we're gonna get those. Like I've been through this dance before. Like I know we're gonna have an insane rookie class, the talent that we have, that I'm so grateful to work with, the people that we have here in our team. I just know we're gonna knock it out of the park. Question is like, how far are we gonna throw the ball out of the park, right? But for me, it's really about providing the absolute best experience to every single person, right? Because 130 account summer, that's a great summer, but that 130 account summer looks different for many people, right? And so I want to make sure everyone has the best experience possible, whether it's managers or rookies. And so just me being more present time-wise, doing more one-on-ones, focusing more on what I'm passionate on, more one-on-ones, more rep shadowing me, that sort of thing. Just dedicating more time to just like coaching and mentoring.
Right.
So that's what I'm really excited about.
leveraging your highest skill.
Yeah. And I won't be personally like managing a team. There's just so much talent. So I wanted to give space to other people.
Will records be broken this year?
What do you mean?
Will there be records broken? I don't know. Like most grossing downline, most earning rep. How many golden doors might come out of this?
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. But we have some really, really talented people working with us. So yeah.
Right on. And I want to close off the podcast now with like a tradition of asking like a question at the end, just to kind of end it off. Phil, if you can change one thing about the industry, what would it be? Could be anything.
That's a good one.
You could change the podcast host if you want.
That's a good one, man. The first thing that comes to mind is I would say ego.
Mm.
Ego in I think ego is like in the classical way in sales, like kind of like puffing your chest type thing is good. Like you want to be competitive. You want to kind of see this job not as a job but as a game, right? A sport. I think people that have ego, like in sports and everything, like that's good. You want to be toxic, right? But you want to have a little bit of ego, a little bit of good confidence. That's always good. But then, like ego in the more philosophical realm of knowing that I know nothing type thing, right? Always being able to improve, because we're all like we're way too many guys in Vantage, like lots of like
Too much testosterone.
Too much like we need more women, by the way, whoever's listening to this. We need more women in our company, that's for sure. But they're just like, I don't know, like masculinity, all this. There's one thing I would change. I would just like, because all these things we're talking about, like the main theme of this podcast is like intentionality, curiosity, right? Learning constantly, and I feel like a lot of people think that they have it all figured out. I think there's one thing that I've attributed my success, like I just think I know nothing. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to find like, mentors, I'm just learning from everyone constantly. And honestly, I never think that I'm right necessarily. I never am fully certain of anything. Therefore, I'm just always open-minded, and I think that's made me a pretty easy person to work with and a
It allows
fun person
flexibility.
to work with. I think I'm very flexible. I think I'm not a great negotiator. That doesn't make me really good in negotiations, honestly. But that's okay. I mean, BQ like threw me some really a lot of flowers on a ED call we did this summer, and he recognized that. I really appreciated that. He said, he's not greedy. People want to work with him. He's just like, yeah, I think that's what I do really well. I'm definitely not like the biggest like ego person, definitely not like the loudest talker or anything. I'm just like, honestly, a guy that loves what he does. I love helping people. I love sales. I love teaching it. And I'm humble and honored that I get to be a part of all these success stories. Honestly, this is what I do it for. When I look back in like 10, 15, 20 years, like I always say in correlations, like this is the group we're going to grow with, this is like, we're all going to like, keep in touch with each other and just see like, oh my God, like the success that all these people are having is just going to be insane. Like for people that are listening to this, that are not in Vantage, if there's any, or don't like, or aren't a part of a culture like this, it's gonna be hard for them to understand when I say that sort of thing. But the people that are, like, I think they kind of understand the message. Just like the confidence that you gain out of doing this job, like it is the hardest thing. Mm-hmm. It is the hardest thing you can possibly choose to do with your summer, or just like honestly any job in general. So if you're able to do this, to just finish the summer and then to actually do it successfully, it truly makes you think you can do anything. And we know that in life, if you believe you can do something, you can do it. If you believe you can't do something, you're probably right as well.
What you can visualize, you can materialize.
What you can visualize, you can materialize.
Absolutely. And I think that's a beautiful way to end it off. And I appreciate you being as humble as you were. And it took you 4 years to finally make it on a podcast, on an interview, yes. After all the successes you've had. So truly humble, truly putting his ego aside. And I think that's a big thing.
I'm so curious to hear what you guys have taken away from this the most. Leave in like the comment section, like what is the biggest takeaway? I'm wondering if it's like the same thing for everyone or if like they took different things away. So leave that for us. That's been another episode of the Opportunity Knocks podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one. We have so many special guests lining up for this podcast, and I'm so excited to interview all of them for you guys. Take care.